All right, Hern Yee, over to you.
Thanks, Kenneth. So hi, everyone. As Kenneth mentioned, thank you for joining us for today's very first Fireside Chat discussion. My name is Hern Yee, and I'm the Content and Community Lead at Talenox. So as you already know, today's topic is why you will lose out if you don't digitize. So now going digital has been sort of the core priority for many companies in the past few years. And the pandemic has unwittingly been an accelerator for this change in many of our cases. But of course, there are some businesses still uncertain about digital transformation and its efficacy. So that is why today we are here to talk about everything you need to know about digital transformation and how technology is reshaping business. So today we are happy to have representatives from different companies joining us today. We have Gordon from Talenox, Tom from Cheng Co, and Adam from Osome. So Gordon, perhaps before we start, let us give a brief introduction of ourselves. So Gordon, perhaps you can start first.
Yeah, hi everybody. Can you hear me clear? Yeah, I'm the CEO of Talenox. So Talenox was actually co-founded around 7 years ago, and we focus in the area of HR compliance for leave and payroll management. Since then, we have localized for the logic for Singapore, Hong Kong, and Malaysia. And if you have viewed day one video, you realize that we are also going to launch in Indonesia pretty soon. So if you are interested to join our beta program, feel free to register with us. Looking forward to all the fireside chats today. Yeah, over back to you, Hern Yee.
Yeah, that's our jolly good CEO at Talenox, everyone. Aside from Gordon, we also have with us Tom from Cheng Co. So Tom, over to you for the introduction as well.
Thanks, Hern Yee. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me at this BlastOff. Just an introduction of myself. I'm CEO of this Cheng Co Chartered Accountant. We are a firm started since 1993. So I guess everyone here should be much younger than us. So, but I try to share what is last time and then what is today in this BlastOff. Thanks for having me, Hern Yee.
Okay. Yes. All right, and that's Tom from Cheng Co. Thanks, Tom. We also have with us Adam from Osome. Adam, could you share with us perhaps about yourself as well as what you do at Osome?
Right, thanks, Hern Yee. I've been Osome for more than 3 years actually. And when I joined, I remember us having just about less than 500 clients and just 15 of us in the Singapore office. And now we actually have about 7,500 clients and actually more than about 200 employees around the world. We are not as established as obviously Talenox and Cheng Co. But so what Osome does is, we actually a one-stop solution that serves startups and SMEs in Singapore, Hong Kong, and the UK. And of course, we provide corporate services like, corporate secretary, accounting, tax, payroll, etc. through our cloud-based platform, which is backed by AI. And our focus has always been using technology to automate routine work so that we, the humans, can focus on providing the best user experience that we can offer our clients.
Cool. All right. Yeah, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our speakers for our first fireside chat. So the agenda for this fireside chat will be a 40-minute panel discussion followed by a 5-minute Q&A. So just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the panel session, you can type them in the Q&A box in your Zoom control panel and specify who you would like that question directed to. We will attend to them at the end of the panel session. In the meantime, let's kickstart our fireside chat and get right into our first question for the panelists. So our first question would be on how businesses have to adapt to the new normal. So in the past year, the pandemic has, indubitably forced a lot of companies, especially SMEs, to rethink their business operations and expansion strategies, right? So we can confidently say businesses like Talenox, Cheng Co, and and Osome have been on the ground assisting SMEs in their business operations through our digital services. So I guess beginning with Gordon, based on your observation with the recent events, what would you say are some of the major changes that companies had to undergo to adapt to the new normal?
I think the first thing is that a lot of company initially that were really badly impacted by COVID-19. The first thing they are looking at is how can I get more sales and how can I survive during this period. Yeah, so the main thing is that they're looking at avenues online. They can kind of distribute. So let's take an example of like F&B, retail, and so on. If you realize like e-commerce has been booming like crazy due to COVID-19, and a lot of retailers, they realize that they cannot have physical stores anymore. You start to see like the big guys like Robinson and so on going down, moving online, because they realize that this is the new normal. Everything has to kind of like be online. And if you look at the sales on Lazada, on Shopee and so on, it's just shooting up all the way. That's the reason why the share prices are also shooting out all the way. Then after that, looking at F&B, I think everybody is now so used to ordering food online that even when I would say that everybody is able to eat out, I'm pretty sure that if it's just a click of a button, if you can just open up your Grab app, your Foodpanda and Deliveroo to get something that you crave for, I think you will do that. And you realize that all the F&Bs, they also realize that this is something that is really important. But of course, after they solve the sales side of things, that's when they look at how they can actually connect everything together, like connecting to the accounting software to kind of like streamline all their processes. They want to cut costs. So they'll look at like, oh, how can I automate as many things as possible without having too much administrative work? And that's when they start to look at all the back office stuff, aside from accounting, payroll, and stuff like that. Yeah, I think Adam and Tom will be able to share a lot more in depth because they are on the ground. They will know that how traditional business kind of totally changed the way they operate due to the whole pandemic. And both sides can share very interesting views because Tom is in Malaysia. Malaysia has been the lockdown for the longest time. And Adam can share his view in different countries. Yeah.
Sure. So yeah, so what you mentioned on like businesses going for more integrations to further automate and streamline, I think that's a very interesting, also a very relevant point to raise. So perhaps if I could bring this to Adam first. Adam, are those changes something you've also managed to observe on your end?
I think for us is well, definitely. Even though today we're talking about digitization, I think over the past few years, right, especially the past 1.5 years when the pandemic started, I think everybody has really kind of digitized. I think what's the next step, right? I think which was mentioned earlier by Gordon about automation. I think that's really where things are really heading. So it's kind of evolving. For us at Osome, I believe is, well, we have always been digital from the very beginning, right? So I think for us, it's a bit unique in the sense that we do see clients coming in from a very traditional background and coming with us because we're an accounting platform, right? We're also an accounting firm. So they come to us with like stacks of receipts and say, hey, I want to, do my accounting with you. Can you help me scan all this, and then we have to educate these clients. And, so we tend to attract people or companies who are more digital ready in a way, right? And those that are not, I think we have to educate them also. And then they also, instead of coming to us, they'll be like, oh yes, let me scan this for you. I don't have to meet you anymore, right? Especially now we are, there are some times over the past 1.5 years that we are not even supposed to meet actually. So yeah, that's what we have experienced at Osome.
Oh, cool. Thanks for sharing, Adam. And I think that is something we can also have Tom weigh in on. So Tom, based on your observation in Malaysia, right, do you think traditional companies or SMEs in general in Malaysia also had to, in some ways, undergo those same changes as part of the new normal?
Yeah, thanks, Hern Yee. Yeah, good comments from Gordon and
Oh,
Adam.
sorry.
Anyway, it's,
Sorry, go ahead.
can you hear me better? Yeah. So yeah, just a brief background. Of course, Malaysia, we just came out of our MCO. So yeah, due to that, of course, currently, luckily now the cases are from 5-digit numbers going down to 4 digits lah. Before that, of course, all our companies, we are not going into the office. And when we started that time also, the cases were just a few thousand. I think then it went up to 20,000+. And then when the government opened back saying that, hey, you can go back to office, a lot of the companies, especially our clients, was wondering whether they should or not. Because when they went for when they went to work from home, the cases was only few thousand. But when they were staying at home, the cases went to what, 10, 20,000 cases. So it was a very tough decision whether to get all their employees back to the office when the cases are higher, going back to office. So I can see a lot of the companies because they're so used to working from home. A lot of companies are giving an option for the employees to stay at home. Only if can, they only meet up if need to lah. So that's what's happening. So therefore, the adoption of a lot of these, I would say, human resource management software from payroll up to time attendance. You can see a lot of pickup rates on that because people are working from home. But it's quite hard to manage them due to they're at home. So that's where I see a lot of adoption on the technology side itself. In terms of accounting, yeah, last time all our finance staff work from our office due to we having all these desktop or server-based software sitting on our servers. But of course, just like Adam was sharing, yeah, a lot of companies now no choice. They have to adopt all these cloud accounting stuff, even to issue invoices, collect payments, and then of course clients say, hey, I can't go back to office to issue payment to you because the check is in the office. So we hear all these funny things happening. So but of course there's a reason. So we have to manage that. So we have to provide a easier payment option for the client where you send an invoice to them, they can click and then right away they can pay that kind of thing, which is connected to their banking systems or what. So we see we see a lot of this adoption on it. Then any services before you provide, you have to have an option for the client to pay first. So collect some deposit and all. Because during this time, I think business is still there. For a lot of SME business, I think collection is a major issue because I mean there's no access to office, so they just don't pay you. So we gotta give them an easy access. So like today all the e-wallets, just like Gordon sharing all the e-commerce like Lazada and Shopee, just make it easy for people to buy and pay right away. So that would be something a lot of SME are adopting. If you ask me. That's where this kind of things are happening in terms of digitalization.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So,
I
yeah,
think. Sorry. Yeah,
go ahead.
very true. I think we can all agree that year 2020, which also extends to this year 2021, will kind of go down as the period in which we as businesses had to pivot to new business models that like leverage on digital transformation, in an effort to weather a lethal pandemic. So I guess today digital transformation definitely plays a bigger role than ever in businesses all across the globe. I think with that being said, this would be a great opportunity actually for us to dive deeper into what digital transformation is today, by discussing the current digital transformation trends taking place in our own backyard. So Tom, if I could get you to further weigh in on this, what would you say then are some of the notable digital transformation trends you've observed or experienced yourself over the last year or so?
So thanks, Hern Yee. Of course, the first thing is human resource tools. I think checking in into your in your home, hopefully, That's important, where they use an app and all. So that's where the what you call there's an adoption on it lah. So I'm just saying, at home the staff would have an app. When they start work, they just check in. Then some of them have all this geolocation stuff whereby they know the staff is in the house, and after that they have to provide also all this kind of tracking kind of work software is being adopted lah. That's how I see it even for ourselves. Of course, I mean a lot of Chinaman companies we still use Excel, do up a schedule 9 to 6, ask them to fill it up lah. Some employees do it. A lot of employees just simply type it in, so that doesn't really work at all because they can give you a plan, but there's no update lah. So these are something I think a lot of us will start off with first. But there's nothing like using a more proper payroll or human resource software, if you ask me lah. So this what I see at the human resource side. Then of course there's a lot of use like all these online what I call meetings. There's so much online meetings going on. So this part of digitalization. So instead of we want to meet our a lot of clients, they are staff. He wants to meet the staff, but the staff say, "Hey, can we go online because of COVID?" So, but during the conversation, you cannot see their face and all this kind of thing. So there's something we need to manage because we're not sure whether the staff is really listening or really contributing. So you have to have I mean housekeeping. So hey, all of you must switch on your videos and all, and yeah, they have to talk within that. And then everyone have to present something. So these kind of things are very new for a lot of SME companies. That's how we see it. Then in terms of like I think Adam should know where a lot of this we provide all these like accounting or business financial presentation to our clients. Let's say you give them a monthly updates. So it has become everything is online. So even so, you have to like schedule up an appointment with your client, get them online, make sure they are in because a lot of times they forget. So make sure they come in online. Then we start presenting to them, and then a lot of times, yeah, like now time we have a lot of internet issues, but client appreciate now all these presentation online where it becomes more interactive. That's
Indeed,
how
I think yeah, digitization is definitely a big part in business right now. So I think that's a perfect segue to the next question. Do businesses that digitize tend to do better? Perhaps Adam, we could hear your thoughts on that.
Sorry, just trying to find the unmute button here. Yeah, okay. On the question of whether does companies that actually digitize, do they really necessarily do better? I would say that in the long run, right, that is definitely the case, right? If you think about it, I think at the very beginning, digitization is just like any shifts in thinking or in the processes, right? It takes time and it's always tough at the beginning. It's just like learning anything new, right? But once you get past that, right, I believe that there are only benefits, right? Of course, for example, right, in Osome, we also understand that we aren't really able to, cater to everyone because there are just people who, don't want to go by digital solutions. Say, hey, I was on an old school way. I still want to, meet someone. I want to talk to my accountants. And we understand that. Of course, we are also trying our best to, manage this group of clients, right? Which is why we are very focused on automating as much of our processes as possible, so that we can then focus, our efforts on providing a great customer service to this other bunch of clients that we are facing and encountering. So I think, at the end of the day, I think that's where everyone is really heading towards, digitization. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, automation is our focus as well. And I think with that, productivity will increase, right, as time goes on. And then definitely, businesses will start to see the benefits rather than, the drawback right at the beginning. as we all start, right? It's going to be tough to start, but it's just going to be benefits right after that.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think so perhaps it's great that you mentioned benefits then. So which brings me to then the next question. For Gordon, this is for you. What do you think then are some of the processes that should and can be digitized, for companies to fully feel the benefits of?
I think it really depends on. Sorry, let me just check my mic. Okay, I think it really depends on the kind of industry that you are looking at. Different industry will benefit differently. We are looking at those that I mentioned, like F&B and retail. Of course, the first thing is to look at the bottom line in terms of sales that I've mentioned. Then after that, look at their back office. We look at whether they are able to kind of like integrate their point of sales, their online ordering system, or to their kitchen management and so on, so as to ensure that everything is very streamlined. Aside from just adopting technology, they may need to relook at certain business model. The reason why you've seen more and more central kitchens popping out is because they realize that online sales is actually a lot more as compared to physical sales due to on and off lockdowns in different countries. That's why they start to launch central kitchens. And not only that, it actually provide a new revenue stream for them because they realize that the margin is a lot higher. They don't really need to hire a lot of people. They just need to ensure that there's a kitchen that can function, that everything's streamlined to that kitchen in each areas, and they're able to service a lot more clients or a lot more people who will want to demand for their products. Yeah, in terms of other type of businesses, let's say a business like Osome, Cheng Co, or professional services, like what they have touched on, I think the most important part is about collection. Whether are you able to kind of create a new flow where everything is where the collection is done online, and how can you make it really easy? So there are really a lot of different payment methods now. In terms of your invoice, for example, let's say if you use Xero or any accounting software where their invoice can be connected to a payment gateway like Stripe, PayPal, and stuff like that, it'll make things a lot easier for users who want to save out on the transaction fee. There are other ways where you can gyro. You can just put your transfer details there. If you want to make it even easier, there are QR codes for like Pay Now in Singapore, and in Malaysia they have the version of that. And in Malaysia, there are certain payment gateways that is able to lower the fees so low that it makes a lot of sense to use them, where they can kind of pay through QR code. So it's not just Stripe, PayPal, and so on. There are a lot of other methods now that come out. I think because everybody see the opportunity, that collection is very important. And of course, back to the same thing for all businesses, you need to link back to your operations. You need to link back to all your back office tools. And for companies that are a lot more tech savvy, I would say they start to look at cloud integrators such as Workato, such as Zapier, where they are exposed to thousands of apps. Then they will look at, how can I automate my customer service? How can I automate my customer support and so on? How can I ensure that my marketing side, drip marketing and stuff like that, everything is automated? For those that are like software business, looking at customer behavior and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's a lot of things to cover, but just touching on like some of the few industries that are that you would know more usually. Yeah.
Yeah, there are definitely like more things that we can digitize for sure for businesses to become super efficient. So Tom, what do you think about that? Feel free to weigh in.
Thanks, Hern Yee. Thanks, Gordon. Yeah, I can share a few things that I experienced recently lah. So in the F&B segment, during the lockdown, a lot of these suppliers they couldn't even go and their sales couldn't go and service all these F&B outlets due to they are restricted they can't go out because they are just in the supply chain, not in the F&B side. So what happened that they took advantage of all these B2B platforms where they connected to all these F&B outlets, list their products on the platform, and then sell it over there. So he saw that it's quite effective, and of course it's not so nice. He fired all his 4 salespeople because they were sitting at home and couldn't do sales. Then of course moving forward now he can start back. But he said that hey, I think I better use all these platforms because it's a buy demand kind of thing. Only when the platforms sell, then you have to pay a percentage. So it's like what 5% of that. So I mean that's happening in the B2B platform side, which quite interesting when I heard about this. Because to him now is that hey, I have these 4 employees, I have to pay a fixed cost. Now I just go on this platform is by demand. I pay by demand. So there's I mean even a small supplier. He was doing a drinks solution. So you're talking about coffee powders, all these liquids and stuff to F&B outlets, kopitiams and all. So he is also changing in a sense. Rather than his 4 sales staff, you have to force them to hey, how's the sales target and all. So now you just list it on a couple of platforms that's connected to a few F&B outlets and sell over there. So they're very open to this. And of course, in terms of logistics, everybody is using third parties like Grab, Lala Move, and all to send their goods here and there. So quite interesting when I saw this because people are trying to have less fixed costs, but go for all these services. But of course, when you reach a certain level again, they might do the fixed cost investment, which is buying your own lorries or having your own salespeople. But that one, they now have more choices to start their business at a very what I call by demand way of outsourcing a lot of these services. That's how I look at it. Another one, I think Gordon also shared with me with Ken at that time. There's a lot of this expense management we have to subscribe to because last time expense management, a lot of people submit in their claims using hard copies and then putting it on a claim form. But a lot of people are working at home. They have other types of expenses. So a lot of these expense management software came in to help our employees to make their claims because I think it's very hard to nobody's going to like hey you compile all these bills for me and then send over to my house and then I take for you and then I pass it to accounts. That doesn't work anymore. So expense management is I think quite a big thing. A lot of people were getting all these softwares to make their employees easy to make a claim. I think the third one, of course, is the document all these management. So a lot of OCR stuff. I think it's not like Adam was saying. I mean, clients need to scan documents to us. If not, we cannot even go and take it of course, some guys are quite innovative. They say, "I send to you using a Lala Move," or so you're like, "Oh shit!" So there's yeah, some guys still don't want to change, but they don't mind to send over to your home the boxes, which is quite tough to receive it also. But there are still some clients, yes, they adopt a bit of digital, but just using by demand delivery services to send over the box to you. So you can't say no also because last time you don't have this, you say, hey, my guys don't have time to send over to you. Sorry, you have to wait unless it's back to me. Oh no, he said don't worry, I send it to you. Oh my god. So this
Yeah, I think it has shown in many ways for many businesses that digital transformation really does create like a myriad of opportunities for growth, right, and efficiency. So and while we've established that the digital transformation trend is sort of on the upswing, it of course comes with obstacles and challenges, right, for some businesses as well. So this leads me, perfect segue, Tom. This leads me to the next question. What do you think are the biggest barriers for digital transformation that companies can overcome? Perhaps, Gordon, you can take this question first.
I think for most companies that has nothing, like maybe the best digital transformation that they have is Excel sheets and Google Sheets. Yeah, so I think for them, the main thing is fear. When you don't know what you don't know, usually fear will kick in. Yeah, and they will think that, oh, I have to revamp every single operations from my backend to front end, sales, to finance, to HR. That's crazy. I don't even know how to use like any system at all. Excel or paper is my best friend. So for this group of users, I'll say that it's the most daunting. So what I always suggest is that don't revamp everything at one go. Focus on what is the most important first. Take small steps. So I just keep repeating to everybody, take small steps. Don't take huge steps. Yeah, because you need to learn bit by bit before you commit to more digitalization. So for most users or more SMEs, I will always recommend to focus on the sales portion if your sales is affected. Yeah, so look at how you can at least create an online shop, be it to put on Lazada, Shopee, or use Shopify, or for F&B to use like order delivery service like Foodpanda, Grab, or even have your own website using Order. Yeah, so try out that. Be familiar. Try that out for like 3-4 months. Then after that, start to think of, oh, what's the next step? How do I do how do I actually automate my accounting, payroll, and so on? If you don't want to deal with all those trouble, outsource. Outsource to guys like Osome, Cheng Co. Even in Talenox, we don't deal with our own accounting. Yes, we use Talenox for payroll and leave management. That's because we built Talenox. But in terms of accounting, we use Xero, but we kind of outsource it because you need that kind of professional advice. And the main thing you want to focus on is your own business. So I would always recommend that, yes, you outsource first, learn from your consultants or service providers on how to digitize. 5 good ones that will not want to just lock you in, but really to help you along. They will have a lot of other tools that they can introduce you. They will help your business. Yeah, if you are really unsure. Then after that, when you gain a lot more understanding about digitalization, after 1-2 years, that is when you can really look at your whole operations on how you want to streamline things. In Talenox, although we serve like 4,000 over active SMEs, we only have a team of 20 of us, including engineers and designers, and that's because we use a lot of software. Yeah, we pay 5 digits for software, and because of the fact that we use a lot of software, it actually saves a lot of costs in terms of engineering for tools internally. Yeah, so don't be afraid. Take small steps. If not, always reach out to service providers like Osome and Cheng Co. Then after that, you learn from them. Yeah.
Yeah, those are really great insights, Gordon. Thanks for sharing. Adam, what do you think of what Gordon has shared so far?
Well, just by the sheer number of times he mentioned Osome, obviously I'm gonna say it's a good sharing from him. But I think, of course, what he shared makes a lot of sense. I think another thing to also kind of take note of, like in terms of barrier, right? I think it's the mentality, right? A lot of times people I think like what Gordon said, right? Take baby steps, right? And I think even before that, sometimes people will be like, oh, the mentality, do I want to digitize? I guess that's the first question anybody should be asking themselves. What's the opportunity cost here if I don't digitize, right? And then once you have those questions answered, and well, most answers usually point towards, yes, I probably should digitize. Then, like what Gordon said, right, is to really focus on what is important. My take on it is to focus on what are your core strengths, right? Like if say, providing a consultancy is what is your forte, right? Then how can you adopt digital solutions to augment that, right? It could be sales and marketing, like what Gordon is saying, right? The sales side of stuff. Or it could be just, maybe just a CRM solution to manage. And then after that, of course, then you slowly expand, taking baby steps again to kind of quote Gordon there. And as I think also something that Gordon mentioned earlier about Zapier, Workato, where there are, solutions out there to also connect everything together. Then as time goes on, I think this takes time, right? And then after that, you will find that you actually have a very seamless process experience for your clients. At the end of the day, right, why do you digitize? Is it really just purely for yourself? I think most of the time, if you do certain things with the focus as your clients being your focus, which is what Osome is doing, right? Very client focused. Then I think the solution that you build backend would definitely be amazing. And I think that's what Talenox is doing, right? Building a solution that really focuses on the client, and then everything will just fall into place, and just implement everything else, and then just connect everything else, and then everything will just fall into place. That's what I feel.
Yeah, I think so. So I guess what we can say is that one of the biggest challenge for businesses when they want to, proceed with digital transformation is that a big mistake they make is probably trying to digitize too many processes and not focusing very much on process at a time. So taking one step at a time, that's great. Tom, what about you? Other than what was mentioned, what do you think are some other big barriers to digital transformation that companies can overcome?
Thanks, Hern. I do a quick one. This is a personal experience also. I mean, I agree with Adam. Totally is a mindset. Just to share, my wife, she bought over a Penang cafe selling Penang food in January this year. So then, of course, they were using a traditional, POS system. So I asked her, hey, you go and change to a cloud one. So then she said, okay. So she changed it. And then after that, she didn't know that she has to pay 900 ringgit every year. But she says, wow, so expensive. Every year I have to pay a subscription for the software. So this is something, a barrier that you find due to the, last time people think that just buy a software and then just pay like maintenance fee. So there's something, a lot of SMEs that we need to educate them. Of course, with the cloud, I see there's so much potential. Potential means that that's not like Gordon was sharing. You can integrate with Foodpanda or this Grab, so that you don't have to re-key in orders, or when you get the orders, it's straight away into the POS systems. People are looking for that. But any integration also costs a little bit more money. There's an extra 200 ringgit per year. Some people don't even want to pay for that because just pass it to the accounts guy, he will get it done for me. So these are things that I mean, it's a mindset thing. But after a while, I think they accept it. When I say they accept it, they say, yeah, okay, it really makes my life easier. Rather than I have 2-3 devices, one for Grab, one for Foodpanda, one POS systems, and then I have to go and manage all these kind of orders in three equipments. So that's where you see a lot of benefits through integration, where Talenox, Zero, I think Osome, and us, we are trying to do a lot for these our clients. So the reason I got to the cloud also, I told her, you can see your sales anytime, anywhere, rather than you just wait for the whole day, then go back to and then wait for someone to WhatsApp you the sales, the picture of the sales. So that's something I see it really helped. Of course, after a while, there was a supermarket where you always buy all your vegetables or things for the shop just behind her. Then she saw it in food Grab Mart. So now she doesn't go to the market even though it's behind. She just order the food and someone from Grab just send it to her. So and she said, oh, it's so easy. And if you don't like why she buys it, also the reason, there's many reasons. There are Grab gives you points. The points you can go redeem for something. So people just find there's so much more value. Where after buying through Grab using the e-wallet, they can see an extra benefit, which is using their points to buy their Starbucks or Coffee Bean, I guess. So all these add value to the business. It's just that a lot of SMEs, we got to educate them, talk to them more. They themselves, of course, have to change their mindset. We can't like force them in. But things are changing because they will see. Okay, I can just share like during the lockdown, everything was on delivery. Nobody can dine in. But once lockdown ends, dine-in start to have a bit more. You can see straight away the business also drop a bit in terms of delivery. people still like to dine in. So they also have to change back a little bit of their business model, where then what you see in the dine-in, there will be more less places to sit. So people come, they want to dine in, but they can't, so they just take away. So which is much better also for the shop, rather than have like 50 people in the shop. Now you only have 20. The other 30 need to take away. So it's safer that way, and it's also easier on the staff. So these are things that they are catering for nowadays. I can share a bit more on that. Right?
Yeah, I think it's great that you mentioned mindset. That's why we have sessions like this to discuss more about digital transformation and educate everyone. So yeah, the time is now 10:45. Thank you, Gordon, Tom, and Adam. I think now we will go ahead and take some time for questions from the audience. So just a reminder, please be sure to type your questions into the question box in your control panel. I think for now, we do have a few questions. Let me just scroll up. So we have one quick question from Dennis for Gordon. Is there any estimation timeline or roadmap for Talenox plans to roll out for countries like Japan, Korea, China, Vietnam, UK, etc. anytime soon?
Dennis, a great question. I would say that not anytime soon, based on those countries that you have provided. But there are some countries over there that is in our roadmap that we may be interested to go into, especially for those that are in Southeast Asia and East Asia. China is actually quite difficult. China is definitely out of the roadmap for anytime soon because it's a very, very different country that as compared to the rest, as there's a lot of provinces to cover. Yeah, so we can't promise you anytime soon, for sure. But we do have a global version that if you know the logic of each country and you want to kind of like customize it based on that, you can do so, but it won't be as localized and as connected as compared to our Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, and upcoming Indonesia version. Yeah.
Cool. Dennis also has another question for you, Gordon. She would like to know, is the system configuration working well for Talenox to integrate with Mercer on the system for MSA and FSA, and whether there are any existing clients using this channel with Mercer so far?
For now, I don't recall any integration to Mercer. But if you'd like to discuss with us on that, you can head over to talenox.com. If you're a user, you can kind of like use the in-app support channel to reach out to us. We can discuss over there. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I think that's all the questions for now, actually. But for everyone attending, if you do have any follow-up questions after this, you can feel free to reach out to the relevant panelists should you have any further questions. So yeah, thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here. Thanks again for joining us, and we will see you in the next session.